I first saw her on a Tuesday morning at Brew Heaven, my usual coffee spot. She stood by the window, copper hair catching the autumn sunlight like flames. When our eyes met, something electric passed between us. Her pupils dilated strangely, almost like a cat's adjusting to light. "Excuse me," she said, her voice melodic yet intense. "You probably think this is weird, but do you use cedarwood cologne?" I laughed nervously. Uh, yeah. How did you? "I can smell it from here." She stepped closer, inhaling deeply in a way that made my skin prickle. "It's intoxicating." Before I could respond, she was gone, leaving only the faintest scent of wild jasmine and something earthier, untamed. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. The next day she was at my gym, not working out, just watching me from the corner, those strange umber eyes tracking every movement. When I approached, she smiled apologetically. "I know this looks bad. I'm not trying to be creepy, I promise. It's just your scent. It called to me." "Look, this is flattering but really weird," I said, trying to maintain boundaries despite the inexplicable pull I felt toward her. "I'm Raven," she offered, extending a slender hand. Her touch sent warmth flooding through me. "And I know you're Jake. I know this seems insane, but please, just be careful." "Careful of what?" She bit her lip, revealing teeth that seemed slightly too sharp. "Just be aware of your surroundings, please." Over the following week, Raven appeared everywhere. The park where I jogged. The bookstore I browsed on weekends. Outside my apartment building at dusk. Each time, she kept her distance, but watched with that predatory intensity. Then the gifts started. A crimson feather on my doorstep Monday morning. A smooth river stone Tuesday. Wednesday brought a handwritten note in elegant script. "The moon waxes full. Your scent grows stronger. I'm trying to resist." My rational mind screamed danger, but something deeper, something primal, felt drawn to this mysterious woman. I started researching her online, finding nothing. It was as if Raven didn't exist in any database or social media platform. On Friday night, I came home to find her sitting on my apartment steps, looking distressed. Her clothes were disheveled, dirt under her fingernails. "I can't stay away anymore," she whispered, standing as I approached. "Jake, I need to explain something, but you have to promise to hear me out completely before you judge." I should have called the police, should have demanded she leave. Instead, I unlocked my door and said, "Come inside." Raven paced my living room like a caged animal, her movements fluid and unnaturally graceful. The umber of her eyes seemed to glow in the dim light. "What I am about to tell you will sound insane," she began, fingers trembling. "But I need you to listen, to really listen." I sat on the couch, heart hammering. "I'm not entirely human, Jake. I'm listening. My people, we are called the Kitsune, foxwalkers. We've lived hidden among humans for millennia." She turned to face me fully. "Every 7 years during a specific lunar cycle, we enter what we call the calling. It's a breeding season, essentially. Our senses heighten beyond imagination. We can track a single scent across miles." I laughed uncomfortably. "This is some kind of joke, right?" "I wish it were." Raven approached slowly, stopping just inches away. "3 weeks ago, I caught your scent at a farmer's market. Cedarwood and something else. Something uniquely you. It triggered my calling early. I've been fighting it ever since, but the pull, it's overwhelming." "Okay, let's say I believe you. Why me?" "I don't know," she admitted, vulnerability cracking through her intensity. "The calling chooses. It's not logical or fair. I've tried to stay away, Jake. These gifts, this stalking, I know how it looks. But if I don't maintain contact, the need becomes unbearable. It's like drowning, and you're the only air. She reached up, hesitating before her fingers brushed my jaw. The touch ignited something in my chest, heat and longing, and inexplicable recognition. Show me, I heard myself say. Prove you're not human. Raven's eyes widened. Then she stepped back. Her body convulsed slightly, and suddenly, impossibly, russet fur rippled across her arms. Her face elongated briefly into a vulpine snout before shifting back. Behind her, a bushy tail materialized before vanishing. I stumbled backward, crashing into the bookshelf. Holy shit! Holy shit! Please don't be afraid, Raven pleaded. Completely human again, except for those glowing eyes. I would never hurt you. My kind, we're protective of our calling matches, almost obsessively so. This is insane. This is actually insane. I ran hands through my hair, trying to process. What happens if I tell you to leave? To stay away? Pain flickered across her features. I'll try. But the calling will intensify. I'll become more desperate, less rational. Others of my kind might sense my distress and investigate. That's the real danger, Jake. What do you mean? Not all Kitsune respect human agency during the calling. Some take what they want. I've been protecting you from them. She moved closer again, and despite my shock, I didn't retreat. There's a male from my tribe, Kenji. He sensed my claim on you. He wants to challenge it. Challenge it how? By proving he's stronger. By taking you from me. Her voice dropped to a growl. I won't let that happen. The protective ferocity in her tone sent unexpected arousal through me. This was madness, but I couldn't deny the magnetic pull between us. So, what do we do? I asked quietly. Raven's expression softened. You have choices, Jake. You can accept the calling, let this bond develop naturally. Or I can try to break it, though it will be agonizing for both of us. Or, she bit her lip, or we can fake the bond completion to convince Kenji to back off. Fake it how? She stepped closer until our bodies nearly touched, heat radiating between us. The calling bond is sealed through intimacy. If we make it appear completed, others will sense it and leave us alone. The air between us crackled with tension. Raven's chest rose and fell rapidly. Her pupils dilated with barely contained hunger. Appear completed? I managed, voice rough. You mean... We'd have to be convincing, she whispered, fingertips trailing down my chest. My kind can sense pheromones, chemical markers. A false bond needs to be thorough. I should have been terrified. This woman, this creature, was a stalker, obsessed, potentially dangerous. But my body had other ideas. The cedar-scented candle on my shelf seemed to burn brighter, casting dancing shadows across her striking features. What if I actually want this? The confession tumbled out before I could stop it. Not fake, not pretend. What if I feel it too? Raven's breath hitched. Jake, you don't understand what you're saying. The calling bond is permanent, forever. Once completed, we are bound. Literally. Our life forces intertwine. You'd be connected to me, to my people, for the rest of your life. And if I don't care, then I need you to be sure. She searched my eyes, looking for doubt, finding none. Completely certain. Because I won't be able to control myself once we start. I cupped her face, feeling the inhuman warmth of her skin. I'm sure. Something broke in her restraint. Raven surged forward, capturing my mouth with desperate intensity. The kiss was unlike anything I'd experienced. Electric, primal, overwhelming. Her hands fisted in my shirt as she pressed against me, and I could feel her trembling with barely controlled need. Bedroom. I gasped against her lips. She didn't need further invitation. In a blur of movement, she'd lifted me, impossibly strong, and carried me down the hall. We crashed through my bedroom door, hands exploring frantically, pulling at clothing. Last chance, Raven panted, eyes glowing umber in the darkness. Once we start, the bond begins forming. There's no going back. Then stop talking, I commanded, pulling her down onto the bed. Her fox nature emerged in moments of passion. Nails sharpening to careful claws that traced my skin. Teeth grazing my throat possessively. Inhuman sounds of pleasure rumbling from her chest. She moved with supernatural grace, every touch calculated to drive me wild. Mine, she growled against my neck, marking me with gentle bites. Say it. Yours, I groaned, lost in sensation. I'm yours, Raven. The admission triggered something in her. Power flowed between us, golden light that neither of us could see, but both could feel. It wrapped around our bodies like silk threads, binding us together. Our union was intense, passionate, consuming. Raven alternated between fierce dominance and vulnerable surrender, showing me both her predatory nature and her deep longing for connection. I matched her intensity, claiming her as thoroughly as she claimed me. When we finally collapsed together, sweat-slicked and breathless, the golden threads had solidified into something permanent. I could feel her now, her heartbeat echoing mine, her emotions bleeding into my consciousness. The bond is forming, Raven whispered, tracing patterns on my chest. Can you feel it? Yes, I admitted, pulling her closer. I feel everything. She looked up at me, vulnerability naked in her expression. No regrets? None, I assured her, meaning it completely. We lay tangled together, listening to the night sounds outside. Peace settled over us, temporary but profound. Then Raven tensed, her body going rigid against mine. What's wrong? I asked. Her eyes blazed umber. He's here. Kenji. He's outside your apartment. Raven was off the bed before I could blink, pulling on clothes with supernatural speed. Her form flickered between human and fox, instincts warring with control. Stay here, she commanded. But I was already dressing too. Not a chance. If this involves me, I'm involved. A low growl rumbled from her throat, but she didn't argue. Fine, but stay behind me. Don't interfere unless absolutely necessary. We moved to the living room. Through the window, I saw him, a tall, striking man with silver-streaked black hair and eyes that glowed red in the darkness. His presence radiated danger. Raven opened the door before he could knock, positioning herself protectively in front of me. Kenji. Her voice was cold, authoritative. You're trespassing. He smiled, revealing two sharp canines. I came to congratulate you, Raven. I can smell the bond forming. His red eyes shifted to me with predatory interest. Though it seems incomplete. Still vulnerable. The bond is sealed, Raven snapped. We've claimed each other fully. Have you? Kenji stepped forward, inhaling deeply. I smell the beginning, yes, but not completion. The final stage, the soul binding, hasn't occurred yet. That takes 3 days to solidify. My stomach dropped. Raven had conveniently omitted that detail. Which means, Kenji continued, circling us slowly, The human is still fair game. If I can break your partial bond before it solidifies, he reverts to unclaimed status. You won't touch him, Raven snarled, her form partially shifting. Far rippled across her shoulders and her hands curved into claws. Such possessiveness over one human. Kenji's laugh was cruel. You always were too sentimental, Raven. This is why our tribe doesn't respect you. You deny your nature, pretend to care about these cattle. Don't call him that. Why not? That's what they are. Vessels for our calling, nothing more. He turned his full attention to me. Jake, is it? Do you understand what she's done? She's trapped you in a bond without explaining the full consequences. You'll age slower now, develop enhanced senses, become something not quite human, but never truly kitsune. You'll be an outcast from both worlds. I stepped beside Raven, taking her hand. She told me enough. I made my choice. Kenji's eyes narrowed. Brave or stupid? I haven't decided which. He shifted his stance, and I recognized the predatory posture. Traditional challenge then. If I defeat you in combat, Raven, the bond becomes void. Jake reverts to unclaimed status, and I take him for my own calling. No. Raven's voice broke with anguish. Please, Kenji. He's innocent in this. Should have thought of that before claiming him. Kenji's form rippled, growing larger, more fox-like. I'll even be generous. We fight here now. No tribe interference. Winner takes all. I squeezed Raven's hand. Can you beat him? I don't know, she admitted quietly. He's stronger than me. Always has been. Then we don't fight fair, I whispered. You said Kitsune have weaknesses. Tell me. Her eyes widened with understanding. Iron, silver, certain herbs. I remembered the wrought iron fireplace poker in the corner, the silver letter opener on my desk. Buy me 30 seconds, I murmured. Raven nodded imperceptibly. Kenji, if you want a challenge, you'll get one. But traditional rules, no killing blows, first blood to submission. Agreed. He grinned, already anticipating victory. They exploded into motion. Raven shifted fully into her fox form, a massive russet creature with 9 tails flowing behind her. Kenji matched her, silver-black fur bristling with aggression. They collided with supernatural force, claws and fangs, seeking purchase. I grabbed the fireplace poker and letter opener, weighing them. The silver opener was small but sharp. The iron poker had reach but was unwieldy. Kenji had Raven pinned, jaws closing toward her throat. Without thinking, I hurled the silver letter opener. It struck his shoulder, and he howled, recoiling. Silver smoked against his flesh, burning. You dare, Kenji snarled at me, shifting back to human form. This is between Kitsune. He's mine to protect too. Raven gasped, struggling to her feet. The bond works both ways. Kenji lunged for me, murder in his red eyes. I swung the iron poker desperately, catching him across the ribs. He screamed, a sound that was more animal than human, and crashed into my bookshelf. Raven was there instantly, claws at his throat. Yield, she commanded, or I finish this. For a moment, I thought he'd refuse. Then his form collapsed, shrinking back to human. I yield, he spat, for now. No. A new voice echoed through the apartment, feminine, ancient, powerful. Not for now, permanently. An elderly woman materialized in my living room, appearing from nowhere. Her hair was white as snow, but her eyes held the same umber glow as Raven's. Elder May, Raven breathed, immediately bowing. I didn't know you were watching. I've been watching since the calling began, May said, her gaze moving between us. Kenji, your challenge was unlawful. Jake and Raven's bond was legitimate when formed, regardless of completion stage. You violated sacred law. But silence. May's command crackled with power. You are hereby banished from this territory. Leave now or face the full tribunal's judgment. Kenji's expression twisted with rage and humiliation, but he didn't argue. With one final hateful glare at me, he shifted and vanished into the night. Elder May turned to us with an expression that was difficult to read. As for you two, I stepped protectively closer to Raven. If you're going to punish her for the bond, you should know I initiated the completion. It was my choice. May's lips curved into a slight smile. Peace, young one. I'm not here to punish anyone. She moved closer, studying us with ancient eyes. In fact, I'm here to explain what Raven herself doesn't yet understand. What do you mean? Raven asked, confusion clear in her voice. The calling chose Jake for a reason, May said. Not for breeding. That's what we tell the younger ones to explain the compulsion. The true purpose is far more important. She gestured, and suddenly I could see it. Golden threads connecting not just Raven and me, but spreading outward to an invisible network. The Kitsune are dying out, May explained. Our bloodline weakens with each generation. We need new genetic diversity. Yes, but more than that, we need partners who can bridge our two worlds. Humans with the strength to accept us, to help us integrate rather than hide. You're saying the calling is evolutionary? I asked. In a sense, it seeks humans who carry certain traits: open-mindedness, courage, compatibility with our nature. When the calling chose you, Jack, it wasn't random. It recognized in you someone who could help our people survive. Raven looked stunned. But the danger I sensed, the need to protect him, was genuine, May interrupted. Kenji and others like him still cling to old ways. They fear what bonds like yours represent: change, vulnerability, the loss of what they see as purity. But the calling has spoken. You two were meant to find each other. The elder turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Jake? The changes you'll experience aren't a curse. Enhanced senses, longer life, deeper connection to nature. These are gifts. Embrace them. She vanished, as mysteriously as she'd appeared. Raven and I stood in stunned silence, processing everything. Finally, she turned to me, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, she whispered, for stalking you, for not explaining everything, for putting you in danger. I pulled her into my arms, silencing her with a kiss. Stop apologizing. You were protecting me. And honestly, this is the most alive I've ever felt. She laughed through her tears. You're insane. Maybe, but I'm yours. I held her tighter, feeling the bond pulse between us. Stronger now, more certain. So what happens next? Next, we complete the bond properly. 3 days of, well, you'll see. Her smile turned mischievous. Then I introduce you to my family. Fair warning, they're going to be insufferable. Worse than being stalked. Much worse. My mother will want to plan a bonding ceremony. My sisters will interrogate you mercilessly. And my father, she winced. Let's just say he takes protective dad to supernatural levels. I laughed, feeling the absurdity and rightness of everything. Bring it on. I survived Kenji. I can handle your family. Raven kissed me again. Deeper this time. The bond singing between us. Outside, the full moon rose over the city, and I felt my new reality settling into place. I'd been stalked by a foxwoman during her breeding season, fought off a supernatural challenger, and bound myself permanently to a hidden world. My life would never be ordinary again. And I couldn't be happier about it. 3 months later, I moved into Raven's countryside home, where the Kitsune community welcomed me with cautious warmth. The bond completed fully, giving me heightened senses and an almost telepathic connection to Raven. I could shift partially, not a full transformation, but enough to access enhanced abilities. May was right. This wasn't a curse. It was a gift. A strange, supernatural, occasionally terrifying gift. But as I watched Raven teach me to track by scent through the forest, her laughter echoing in the twilight, I knew I'd made the right choice. Some love stories begin with flowers and first dates. Mine began with stalking, supernatural battles, and a bond that transcended species. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing.